Today I was on Confessions of Recruiter with Blake and Declan. We spoke about the last 12 months with Yakka Solutions and what it's been like, the highs and lows, and dropped some value bombs to deck. Thanks guys for having me.
Thank you so much for your support of Confessions so far. It's been an awesome journey. Today we go again, and Big Jack, the king of parks, the better half or other half of Yakka Solutions, and an XR partner. We are proud to have you on the pod, mate. Thanks for making the trip up.
Thanks, Declan. Thanks, Blake.
Welcome to Confessions of a Recruiter.
Very exciting.
We're excited that you're here, mate, because this has been a long time coming.
It has.
We've been wanting to get you on the pod for a while. Now you're here, and you're going to share all of your insights, your value bombs. You're going to share your story.
Yep.
Because your story will probably resonate with a lot of recruiters.
Yeah, okay.
So I think maybe we start there.
And inspire a lot of recruiters as well. But first things first, mate, look at these kits. We've got the Yakka Solution white pants and their trademark top.
Thanks for putting them on, boys.
Thanks for supplying, mate.
Mate, they look great.
I'm not taking this off. We're all going to go to dinner, the Savo, and we're all going to be dressed the same.
Yep. Shout out to Work Locker and Park. They got them done in 3 days. So,
Did they?
yeah, really
Mate,
impressive.
they feel good quality. They
Yep.
look good. And, mate, let's just have a special appreciation for the logo.
Yep.
Generally, we're in the business of making recruitment logos, but you've also got your better half that's also it's actually in the business of making
Yep.
recruitment logos, because this is Tay. This is Tay's handiwork.
No, she did a really good job.
She absolutely nailed it.
Yep.
Nailed it.
And really exciting news. Tay's been working at local council. Obviously we have Eli as well. So she starts in the business properly at the end of this month, mate. So first year on my own, really in that office. But to have Tay, very exciting.
Power couple.
What's Tay going to be
Hopefully.
doing?
So Tay's going to start at the general recruitment,
360.
resourcing,
Oh, resourcing.
and then she'll just. I hope she deep dives into a desk one day because
Yeah.
I think she'd be really good at it. But it's obviously a partner. You can't push too hard, and she'll make her own decisions. But she'll do a really good job.
I think she will too. She's got the personality for it.
Yep.
She's warming. She's easy to talk to. Great conversationalist.
A lot prettier face, which
Yeah,
helps.
yeah. It's she's probably better to look at than you, mate. No
Something like
offense,
that. That's fair. Thank God Eli took after her.
Yeah. So, mate, I think that's going to be a huge success.
Yeah, I'm
Exciting.
really excited.
Congrats, mate. So, mate, taking it back, I think just to frame exactly, should we go back to how you fully got into recruitment the first time and then build from there, or the step of getting into your business?
Yeah. Why don't you give us like a 2 or 3 minute rundown on, I guess maybe even starting, playing footy,
Yep.
and then getting into recruitment, how you fell into recruitment, and then what kind of motivated you to take that next step and start Yakka Solutions.
Yeah, so left Parks when I was 18, played rugby league at a few different places up and down the East Coast. Ended up in Brisbane, was working as a teacher aide out at Woodbridge State School. In the school holidays, needed a bit of extra work and started doing some labour hire. And then was just lucky enough to meet one of the directors and someone else that worked in the business there. And we were having a drive, and they obviously saw something in me that I was a broken down rugby league player, a little bit like they were, and said, "What do you want to do outside of it?" And I had no idea. And on the way back, Nigel said to me, he said, "You should ask Shane for a job." And I said, "Don't you need a degree to be in recruitment?" And he still gives me that to this day. So I asked Shane, and maybe 3 weeks later, someone left their civil and landscaping desk and threw me in the deep end. I said yes. They rang me while I was on site labouring for them, and I left at midday because I was so excited to leave. And they're like, "You kind of need to be on site for us all day."
Wow.
So I let them down. So I kind of did a half a no-show for them. Started in the office, and mate, that was it. So I spent, a good 5-6 years there working on a few different desks, and then it was time to go out on our own.
So blue collar labour hire is
Yep.
kind of your bread and butter.
Yep.
You did a few desks. What industries?
So I started civil and landscaping, and then the commercial construction bloke left, and he had a booming desk, like it was 10, 11K a week, and that was mine. So then, it was thrown in the deep end margins-wise, you're cheering, but you had to learn pretty quickly, and it was a lot of long nights and early mornings, just you're constantly getting let down, but a really good way to learn, and I think it's held me in good stead to then move into the perm stuff, because you've just got that urgency and speed from what you learnt.
What was the biggest learning experience? Were you just lucky you're around a bunch of guys that had that energy and pace? Or
Yeah, some really good people in that business that I'm still pretty close with. Some really good lessons, just because it was kind of like getting Hayes training in a boutique agency, because 3 or 4 of them were ex-Hayes. So like you got that activity like brought into you. If you're not, I think when I took over the civil and landscaping desk, it was all the way back to about $500 a week.
Wow.
And then
So it was basically starting from scratch.
pretty much. And then I think it got back to about $200 for the week. And I said, what do I do? And they said, righto, this is how you do it. Just get on the phone. More time you're on the phone, you're going to find someone else to call after that, and just keep following it. And that has held me in really good stead. It's probably held me back from being able to be really structured and follow a calendar. But it's also, when I make that first call, it could lead to anything, the next 10, 50 calls, whatever it is. I've got pretty good at like following that lead.
So it was really, the mentality was just make a call, because that call will develop into another call.
Yep, essentially. Ask a question. I asked plenty of questions, especially early on. I had no idea about civil or landscaping, so it was like I had no idea about machinery or anything. And the first day, I think a job got called in for a digger operator. Like, no idea. So trawling through the database, and the bloke, I got him the gig. So my first placement was a no-show, labourer, and then my second placement, he's turned up on site about 5:50, so 40 minutes early. I thought, you beauty, like check my phone, text the client saying he's on site early, he'll be there soon. I thought I'll go back to sleep, like it's all sorted. And I woke up about an hour later, do about 3 or 4 different messages, and it was like, mate, where is the site toilet? The gates are locked. I can't hold on any longer. Maybe like 10 minutes between the next message. Mate, I've had to head home. I've shit all through the car. I'm not going to be there for the day. And I said, all right. I didn't believe him, obviously. I said, will you be right for tomorrow? He said, depends how long it takes me to clean the car.
Wow.
And then that was my introduction to recruitment.
Mate, and you thought, fuck, I love this.
This is a good job.
I'm going to do this forever.
Mate, I just got so excited because, like, for every year I was playing footy, I was doing odd jobs. And then I remember the boys offering me $45,000 salary, and as they told me it was $45,000 plus super, I went, yes, thanks. And then mum and dad were like, you're supposed to, like, try and get a little bit more money. Like, you can't just say yes straight away. I just didn't care. I just thought, I got a full-time job and a salary, like, how good is
Mate, I was the same.
Yeah.
It was the best feeling.
Yeah.
And I don't know, recruitment, you can just feel like you're yourself. Like you can add your own flair to things. There's no like strict, like I imagine if you're in like an engineering job or something that's got like standards and routines, then it's holy shit. Maybe another guy's just done himself on site.
What was that one?
Oh, his alarm going off. Yeah. But I think that's why I felt like got the buzz out of it and being able to really make it your own from the beginning.
Yeah, essentially you get practice at running your own business with no risk.
Yeah, you know what? I felt the exact same as you, same as Deck. I came from a comm-only role for a year and a half, and I started on a 55 salary, and I thought, you fucking beauty. I don't even give a shit if I make comms or not.
Yeah.
I'm fucking living pretty at 55. We're almost talking $1,000 a week here. And it was like, I felt like I hit the big leagues. And, looking back now, I don't know how far 55K gets you these days, but looking back, like I felt like I had all of the room and breathing space to be able to just do a really good job because I had a great salary at the time. And so I think people coming from a high salary role trying to drop back into an entry-level recruitment job, they don't get that gratitude. Whereas if you're coming from like really, I guess, far below that type of salary, you can really make recruitment your own because you've just come from a lower standard and getting into recruitment is such a big step up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, and like we had the best workplace culture there, like lunchtime soccer, we'd always train at lunchtime, and then it became soccer. Like we were out on site all morning, and then you're just making calls all the time. But it was just like I couldn't believe it was a job. Just felt very lucky to be doing it. Still feel the same.
Okay, so did you at least get your third deal locked in, or?
Yeah, went all right. Maybe built that desk up to 2,500-3,000 a week, but that was only from July to January. Then the other bloke left, so it was essentially here's your stuff as well as 10 or 11K of his margin. So I went straight to like 14-15K a week.
Wow.
And then it just became about maintaining that because there was 100 people out every week or 100 new placements. Because in the commercial construction a lot, it's like some bloke might go to like 3 different sites for the week. So it's not so much like the hit and stick with, the boys at H people or something, and they might go temp to perm. Like, that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
'Cause a lot of the time it's just like, mate, I just need the site clean.
And you did this all yourself?
So
Did you have any like admin support?
no, we never had resources, but they got us really good at doing everything, but also being pretty good with your like spreadsheets and getting them across to accounts. And then the accounts only just sat a desk over that she'd be shouting out, and you got a pretty good relationship with working, how it kind of works. So I've never had the well, I think it's a benefit of having a resourcer, but it's been a good way to learn.
Yeah, a lot of people when they first get into recruitment, and they're either got a really strict micromanagement type of boss, they have to do the full 360 themselves, and they get put into this like what you would traditionally call like the hardest parts of the job all at once.
Yeah.
A lot of people get like this soft intro where they're a candidate manager, then they go to a consultant, then they get a resourcer for them, and all this added support. Those people end up being less successful in the long run than the people that actually jump into a 360 role where they've just got to literally figure out how to do everything themselves. And then all of a sudden they're equipped with the skills, the knowledge and the expertise to go, oh, great, I can actually run a business now.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Because I guess once you got out and you started running your own business, it didn't feel foreign. As much as you got the support at the back end and that kind of stuff with you guys, that stuff that you never have any idea about. But the day-to-day running of the business, that didn't feel foreign.
And mate, you were 6 years in temp labour hire, so built up all of that. But you'd never done a perm placement.
No, I think I might have had a few go temp to perm.
Yep.
But like a genuine perm placement, not really. So I did the commercial construction for 4 years, and then I wanted to move back to Parks around COVID. Me and Tay were going to head down, and I actually went to finish up with the boys, and another recruitment agency wanted to start an office down there through us. Went to resign, and one of the bosses said, "Mate, we'll just set up an office for you, and you can run the federal government desk." So I pretty much became like a client account manager for a really big government contract down in Melbourne, and I was enjoying it. Like, essentially, I think we went from 5 or 6 workers doing part-time work there to about 40 or 50 doing full-time hours. So, like, it was the dream little thing, golden handcuffs, like good comms, living in Parks, it's not expensive. And I probably could have done that forever. And then, like, once we knew we were going to have Eli, and I was a bit of a joke that, I didn't work as hard as I should, which that didn't bother me. People, were a bit envious of my job. But then, once Eli was born, I was like, I don't want to be that lazy dad. I just don't want him to grow up thinking that Dad's lazy, at least he's having a crack.
Yeah.
So Tay's like, yeah, righto. Start the business after I get back from maternity leave, so we've got some money coming in. And I said, yeah, of course, yep. Just ticking over in my head for about a week. I can't wait. So, like, I remember ringing the Confessions of a Recruiter hotline, leaving a voicemail, and then I hadn't heard from anyone for 2 days, and you were posting on LinkedIn. I said, these blokes are full of shit. They don't ring you back.
Yeah.
And then get a call from Blake saying, actually, Jack, you've run the hotline. No one actually rings this number. We only check it like every 3 days.
Yeah.
And then that was the intro to you boys.
Mate, that's so funny.
How did you find out about us?
It was just LinkedIn posting. Yeah. I was like, this is a pyramid scheme for sure. Like, it looks too good. And then, yeah, like you guys say every time, once you start having a yarn, work out how you make your money and how it works for us, the business is yours. Like, it was a no-brainer in the end. I think I probably sat on it for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
And you were pretty patient with me. Like, I remember even Blake, you reached out once and said, like, mate, if you want to ask me, like, what I think as well, if this other setup's good. Because I think they both would have been good. There was another company that wanted to be, like, half owners. But it just didn't sit right with me thinking that I was giving half my business to someone just for them to pay me a bit of money. Like, just go back to the wall, and then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it does, it's going to be the best thing we did.
It's funny, we have this conversation with recruiters all the time that are thinking about setting up. And usually the fork in the road when they've made the decision is, do I get like an investor to help me pay my salary for the first 3 months while I find my feet and then I'm up and running? And or do I just kind of go through ex-recruiter where I get to own 100% of my business, I get all the support, etc. And my general reaction most of the time is, why would you give away 30, 40, 50% of your company that you're going to have for 10 plus years for the first 3 months of income of your business?
Just a little safety blanket, isn't it?
It is, mate. And like, one, you would either just save up a little bit more money if ex-recruiter isn't an option for you. then just save up a bit more money than trying to
Yeah.
get a loan out from someone, and then half your business is gone,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you got to report to that person. They're taking money off the top. Well, there's so many new dimensions to running a business when you've got someone else involved. That for the sake of the first 3 months of income, you may as well just like grit your teeth and get through it, and then it's all yours, you know?
I remember the other bloke saying to me, like, we'll pay you a really good salary, and then you probably won't take any money out of business for, the first 3 years. And I just thought, what's the point? Like, to get the salary straight up, because then it's never really that fight or flight. I've got to make this work. I think it's a no-brainer now for people to look at X-Recruiter and go to do it, because it's such a proven path. But we were pretty early. I think the only two people I could ring was Crystal and Jimmy.
Yeah, mate. What do we know? Like, what number partner Jack is?
6.
Yeah, I reckon I started working before a few, because people were a little bit smarter than me and actually took their time with it. Where I like everything. I nearly resigned, and then I think it was like you boys were like, "We'll get it done as quick as we can," and I was like, "But can I start working on it?" And you're like, "Yeah, if you want." So, mate, about a week later, we had an office, like a 12-month lease set. Like, there's no patience that way. So, Tay's been good for that, like, because with the amount we've done, potentially could have done more if she didn't hold me back from some stuff. So I've got to be quite thankful that she does keep me patient at some times, because I do get a bit excited.
Yeah, you know what? It's so funny. Like, I remember hearing your voicemail and going, like, what was I doing? I was just prepping for the next Confessions podcast.
Yeah.
And we've been pumping out this, like, call the hotline, blah, blah, blah. And we had a few people call the hotline, but it kind of fizzled out.
Yeah.
No one really called it. And then I just get this, like, this bloke, like, hey, guys, just thinking about starting my agency. And I'm like, is this our first inbound phone inquiry for X-Recruiter? And then I spoke to you, and then I called Dex straight after, and I'm like, mate, just had a fucking conversation with this recruiter. He fucking called the Confessions hotline, and he's a fucking good bloke. And Dex like, really? I'm like, yeah, mate, he seems awesome. I think he's one of us. And he's like, oh, well, let's fucking get him on a call.
It felt like that early on.
Yeah.
It felt easy.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Like, it's got to feel easy,
Yep.
And it was an awesome moment, because I think even though maybe you were number 6, I think there would have been only 2 trading partners.
Yeah, I
at the
reckon there
time.
was. Yep.
Yeah, because Lisa started at the same time,
Yep.
and then there was already Jimmy and Crystal.
Yep. And then it was pretty much like,
Because Nicole didn't start, Harwell,
Yeah.
H People,
Yep.
Fraser, they all started in July.
Yeah. Yep. It was like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
so you're actually like a full proper OG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel old now.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I remember it. He goes, mate, Deck, am I crazy for doing this? Like this perm thing? Like, I've never done perm. I've only done labour hire. I'm like, oh, well, mate, if you're crazy enough to do it, we're crazy enough to do it with you. And I think that was when we said, let's give it a
Yeah.
crack.
And then originally we were going to be an IT recruitment business.
Yeah.
Because with the last 2 months of my old company, I said, let's start an IT recruitment desk in Sydney. Give me a crack at it. I probably spent like 2 weeks on the phones and picked up a couple jobs. Didn't make any placements, but because I picked up a couple jobs real quick in a brand new industry, I thought, oh, this is time. Like, I can do it. So much money in IT. And then I remember talking to you boys, and they're like, might be suited a bit more to like go back to construction and manufacturing, because it's a bit easier. Like, I would have had to change my approach with IT, and I think it would have been a bit of a slower burn where you should jump on the phone and have a yarn.
I think personality fit in what industry you recruit in is really crucial to long-term success. And if you've got a mismatched personality to the desk that you're on, it's just not natural.
Yeah.
And not saying that you
don't
embody an IT person to me,
That's fair.
So I thought, you know what, absolutely, construction,
Manufacturing,
mining.
trades, mining.
Yeah.
Like, I think that you'd be a duck to water to speaking to those candidates.
Yeah, and then it made sense. Like, in our area where we live in Parks, for those who don't know, Central West New South Wales, it's like, I think there's about 11 or 12 mines within 3 hours of us. We've only really scratched the surface there. Majority of our work's actually been up here in Brisbane, and we're just starting to get some good trust from some local businesses and that, which is, it took probably 9 to 10 months for people to think, like they're still going to be around.
Yeah.
Let's give them a go. There's been one other recruitment agency in Parks forever. Let's just, stick with them, and then we're just slowly picking away at it. So
Walk me through that, because that's a really good segue into starting Yakka. You started Yakka as a perm agency. You'd never done perm before.
Yep.
In a regional town that, I guess recruiters aren't plentiful.
No.
So there was a lot of recruitment that was actually interstate or out of town. So walk me through how you were able to build your desk, get new clients.
Yep.
What was that like for your first couple of months?
They were pretty hairy. Like, I remember being on the phone to yourselves a lot, and just keeping consistent and just keep picking up the phone and ringing. Like, I always go back to it, and I think it happens with habits. When you start going well as well as going bad, you can jump on emails and messages, but you can't make magic happen over an email. Like, a phone call can lead to anything. So I just stuck to that. I remember saying to Deck a couple of times, like, Deck actually gave me my first lead.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
What did you give him?
On track as an estimator?
Yep.
Mate, you're still doing deals with them today?
No, that was our first deal 12
First
months
deal.
ago. Yeah.
They likely just come back to him though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's what I was
right.
talking
That's what I saw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he only rang in the last couple of weeks and said he's got some stuff coming up, and like I was going to catch up with his New South Wales sales rep and try and get him a couple of meetings with the mines around our area. So like he actually rang and said happy 12 months in business. So like,
Hey.
Oh, that's
You
awesome.
never forget your first client.
nah. So it was pretty special.
Yep.
And then the next month, so that was two and a bit months before we did a deal. So that was pretty tough. Like, not having the big thing for me was not having those instant wins. Like an instant win of a placement in labour hire or temp, you can do it so quickly. With perm, it's like to actually then build up the jobs and then have the candidate pool. Like, it does take time, and if I probably went into not knowing, hey, you might not make a placement for a few months because you haven't been in this industry, you don't have any contacts, you haven't done perm. Like, be a little bit patient. Where like mum and dad and Tay were like, you're doing really well. You're always busy. You're always on the phone, so it's going to come around. And then we did a deal, so we were pumped. I remember ringing Deck, and I think like it was like Jory and Sam in the background, Jimmy Lawn, and like I never knew that the confetti went off when you went hired on our CRM, so I was cheering.
Yeah.
And then, mate, how do I fill this out? And then the next month we did another deal, and then the next month we did 3, and I was like, here we go.
You're on.
So we went up on a little trip up to the coast, little family holiday, and going out to dinner and lunch and really enjoying it. And then the 3-month block hit, and that was a really good lesson early on. Didn't build anything for the next 2 months.
Yep.
And then essentially it was like starting from scratch again, just getting that momentum. And then we've been really consistent since November. So I certainly prefer those consistent months than those big like peaks and troughs.
Mate, I love the rawness of that first 6-month journey. And to give some context on, the 3-month slump that you just spoke about, a lot of recruiters go through this 3-month slump where, because they've got the hunger, the passion, the energy to make it work, they fucking light it up. And then they get all these deals, and you're like, I'm fucking rich, baby.
Yeah.
And then you
What's
take
that?
yeah. You forget you got a 10% income BAS coming through that you've got to like pay out. But you make all this money, and it's like mind-boggling. Like, what was it like having, I don't know, was it 30, 40, 50 grand slapped into your account?
Yeah, and I think we did so like officially we launched in maybe June, July website-wise, but like I was working from the end of April, and that, I think it was August or something, we did like 50. So that was my best month ever in recruitment. And like it was the 3rd or 4th month. So
And it's for yourself.
I know, it's like, how easy is this?
Yes. I just walk into this office. I remember you
Darling,
saying...
you're not going back to work from maternity.
Yeah.
Baby, we made it.
I remember.
Yes.
You're like, Deck, mate, if anyone knew what I was making in this little office, fucking hell, they'd be word about town or something like that.
I seriously felt like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, because, a lot of my mates are tradies and running their own businesses, but they're earning every dollar, which we still are, but it's just in a different way. And the lump sums, I guess, was such a big difference to think that kind of money you could make quickly.
Yeah. So you get 50K slapped in your account. You're high. You got the dopamine hit. You're like, fucking yes, this is what life is now.
Yep.
And then you take your foot off the gas, and you're not as proactive and hungry as you was because you've got all this. You're comfortable. You've finally done a few deals, and then the 3-month slump kicks in, and you fucking do donuts.
Yeah.
Like everyone, not everyone, but like most people go through that psychological wave of ripping it, lighting it up, getting heaps of cash, taking the foot off the pedal, and then having to start from scratch again because they just didn't anticipate the roller coaster that happens when you first start an agency.
And then even starting again, like for the ones that we built in November, say if any payments were late, like you're stressing because Christmas is coming up, and we were billing good money in November and December, but you might not see $1 to the other side of Christmas. So like I remember that being really hairy and being pretty stressed about that. But like you said, like you just had, I don't know, years worth of lessons in 6 months, and you felt like you
learn more about yourself. You can't read any book.
Nah, exactly right.
No book will tell you this. Until you're in there in the cauldron yourself, a business, there's nothing else that you'll learn more about yourself.
It's a great humbler, isn't it?
Okay, so if there are any recruiters out there that are interested to find out what it's like to have a VA support them in their role, whether that be to bill more, reduce tasks that they don't enjoy doing, or be a more effective recruiter in their niche, then we definitely recommend reaching out to the Outsource People or TOP. Reach out to them, inquire on how they can implement a VA in your agency and to support you. And if you mention ex-recruiter or Confessions of a Recruiter, they will give you a 13% discount off your bill per month on this VA that will allow you to scale your business, scale your desk, and to bill more and make more money. So go reach out to the Outsource People, say Confession sent you, get your discount, and see what is possible. We experience 5, 10, 15-year recruiters that think they fucking know everything about recruitment and how it all works, and they're at the top of their game. And then when they start an agency, they get humbled really hard, and they've got to relearn. It's like you're back at the starting blocks. And you go through this massive shift in your mindset and how you present yourself, and what's important and what's not. And you learn more about recruitment and yourself, in your first 12 months than you did in your 10 years of recruitment prior. And a lot of people don't anticipate that moment, that shift in personality and identity in the first 12 months of business. That's super exciting. Like the Jack that's here today is a completely different Jack who was up here 12 months ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
And you can be super proud about that and go, geez, just 12 months ago, I was a completely different person. And now 12 months on, look at me today. And, another 12 months from now, I wonder who I'll be. Because that business journey is constantly evolving you as an individual far beyond just being a recruiter. And that's what, I think a lot of recruiters don't anticipate is how exciting that personal growth, that personal journey that you get to go on when you're in business.
Yeah, it completely consumes you. Like, you're not going home and, and not thinking about what am I going to bill, when's that one coming in? Like, it doesn't stop. So you try and slow yourself down a little bit, but I think when you love it, you don't really care. Like, you see your mates working really hard for every dollar they earn, and you think, you do little sums sometimes and work out like what your average call makes you, and it's just bizarre. You just think you're very.
What is it, mate? What is it? What did you work it out?
Like I might have done it once there after maybe 6-7 months, and like it's like $20-30.
Yeah,
like an average call.
You're on the phone for an average of 5 minutes.
Yeah. What about when you do a really quick deal, like you do a reverse market and they accept the first candidate? You're like, oh shit, my early rate's about $4 or $5 grand.
Yeah. Just get 15, 20 G slapped in your account for a couple of emails. And
that's the thing I've had to slow down a little bit because I learned in labour hire, it was like, don't let the sun go down on a job. Like if you got a job, fill it. And that was probably slowed us up early because I was trying to fill everything so quickly. Like even with that first job, I was sending candidates to him that day.
Yeah, mate, it was wild. I was like, wow, this is a super proactive, fast recruiter.
Yeah, where it's like, well, in perm, unless you've got that existing relationship with the client where they know you've got a candidate pool, like you can't go to market, present someone straight away without kind of coming across that, you're just stinging them for a fee and it's not work involved. Like it happens sometimes. We've filled a couple of jobs in a day that were brand new markets and that, but it's just a bit of, I guess, being a little bit more time in the seat, you don't feel as bad doing it.
Yep.
But early on, you're like, I can't send this to them after one day and charge them 20 grand. Like, it's just not fair.
Yeah, it depends on the expectation of the conversation beforehand. So
Yep.
if they know you've got 7 years experience doing this, you're the director, you've got candidate pools, then they can understand that.
Yep.
But if there's no one around and all of a sudden they get a CV and they're like, wow, this is going to cost me 17 grand if I employ this person.
Yeah,
Oh, that was way too fast.
yep,
Like, how am I not making 17 grand?
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when everyone thinks recruiters are flying. And, it's a lot of them are like 6 months worth of work where you know the candidate for a while, but then it's a one call, one email, and you get them out. But you've been working behind the scenes for a fair while on it.
Yep.
You know what? It reminds me of this quote. I'm just trying to get it up now. And you probably have heard of it, but I don't want to butcher it. It's just not working for me. It's the quote where this ship engine broke down, and they've been trying to fix it for ages. They can't fix it. And then some guy comes in and taps it with a hammer, and he sticks him with a $200,000 bill. And they go, mate, it took you 10 minutes and you're billing me $200,000 to fix this boat. And he goes, yeah, but the reason why I was able to do it in 10 minutes is because of the 15 years of experience I've got before that.
Yep.
So you're actually paying for the 15 years of experience
Yep.
I've got to be able to fix this engine.
Yep.
And have you heard of that?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like when you meet a real estate agent, they sell your house off market, and you're like, oh shit, you just got paid like 45 grand. And I'm like, yeah, but you've door knocked this suburb
Yeah,
for the last
exactly.
15 years.
Yeah.
Every Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, you got to appreciate what's behind it.
Yeah, 100%. And sometimes clients, when you go too quickly and you don't build that value of like, oh look, this is why I've, like exactly what Dex said, is kind of framing it,
Yep.
setting expectations early. They do feel like it's just, and I said it before, and probably not in the right way, but like they do feel like you send an email and you make all this money,
Yeah.
and it's a bit rich to do that, but it's right. It's the 50 calls a day that you've been making for the last 12 months that actually generated that result, not the email in the resume, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
And what about your self-talk? Like, I know you're working with one other bloke in Parks before you kick this off, but, we've had our chats about, working in the office alone and what that looks like. What's your self-talk like daily? What's your routine? Because a lot of I found that the hardest part. A lot of recruiters still find it the hardest part about going out on their own and having to work from home for genuinely the first time.
I think you dwell on the losses for too long when you're on your own at the start, and it takes, like you said, it is self-talk because you're essentially whinging to yourself about how that didn't work out. But the quicker you can move on, the better. And I reckon in 12 months is a huge difference. Like if something went wrong in that first couple of months, because you're just under like financial stress, it's it's the biggest problem in the world. I'm probably on the phone to one of you boys like, what do I do? But now it's just like, yeah, I'm used to working on my own at the moment, but I've had Tay's help over the time, but just even having her in the office is just going to be, hey, this has happened. Like she's filled like 2 or 3 jobs just from overhearing stuff and said like, oh, that candidate would be good for that client.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so behind the scenes, she's filled a couple
Yeah.
with just hearing stuff. So that's
Even
why
some of her friends.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've got a couple friends, a couple
Yeah,
starts up
that's
here.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. How good.
So it's been it's not easy on your own, but at the same time, it's people are doing a lot harder jobs on their own. So yeah, you can't dwell on them for too long.
And mate, you're sponsoring Parks' #1 female netball team.
Hey, they got beat in the grand final last week.
Oh.
And, yeah, pretty upset. We hadn't been to the last 3 or 4 weeks. It was getting a bit cold. Put Eli to bed a bit early, but we made the trek. And unfortunately, girls went down. But great first season.
Yeah.
I'd say we might try and sponsor a few more teams next year.
So did they have Yakka on their uniform?
Yeah, it was pretty much like this blue with a nice logo on that.
Mate, that is awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
Is it a surreal moment that you like turn up to a game and you see your logo
Yeah.
on a sports team
Mate,
outfit?
Even just like looking at you blokes wearing the shirts and doing this you think 12 months ago, it's not even something you're thinking of.
It's funny, like a lot of recruiters don't anticipate the level of success. They underestimate the level of success that they'll make in their first 12 months. And exactly like what you've just explained before, you went into a new market, doing perm you've never done before, working for yourself on no salary. Like you had basically all odds stacked against you. And you did a deal in your second month? Or
Yeah, end of the second month, yeah.
End of the second month. Most perm recruiters, high billing perm recruiters, are anticipating hopefully doing their first deal in the second or third month.
Yeah.
And they are staying in the same industry, doing the same recruitment. And so to hear you going from labour hire in a different state to then doing perm in a different industry, like all these like crazy anomalies that would just make things so much harder, and then you're still able to pull a deal in your second month is it's actually really good. And not many, even really good recruiters like that, they guess that they will do a deal in their second month.
It didn't feel like that though, because I was so used to quick wins in labour hire and temp work. Like calls and that didn't like a call or a client meeting didn't feel like a win. So it essentially felt like 2 months without a win. And like I remember my family saying to me like, it'll take 3 or 4 months before things start to kick off, and I couldn't believe that. So maybe that's why it was a bit earlier. Because by the end of 2 months, you're like, thank God. Like,
yeah, you got the fast feedback loop of temp.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's probably made you a good perm recruiter, because if you keep the temp intensity in a perm environment, like you end up being a gun.
I don't think you could go the other way as well.
Nah.
Like rugby league players to rugby union. Rugby union can't come back to rugby league.
Oh, you can't go back to temp.
Oh no, like I don't think
temp.
you could be a perm recruiter for 6 years and then go, I'm going to go sit on a labour hire.
Yeah, there's no chance.
It'd be a resignation next day.
Yeah, 100%. So does that mean perm's easier than temp?
In a way, like essentially you got to, after 12 months, like you got a candidate pool in your head of like, well, I remember the big thing at our old agency was try and kill and fill jobs on the same phone call. Like, hey mate, I need this chippy tomorrow, or I need a labourer tomorrow. Like, if you were doing your job properly, you were filling the job before you got off the phone. You're like, yeah, actually, what suburb? Yeah, no, I've got a bloke that only lives 2 suburbs over. What time you want him there? And to have that a little bit in perm of just knowing where people are based, what they're looking for, what's going to be a good fit. Like I've done it a couple of times in my head, filled perm jobs while I'm on the phone, but obviously you need to do the process. So it is good, but then at the same time, when like you fill a job in 2 weeks, you feel like, geez, like that probably took a bit longer than it should have.
Yeah. No, I love that. And so now your first year anniversary in business.
Yep.
Is it this month or last month?
Well, official launch, like I think it was still the start of July. Like when you guys came down probably before we were even all kind of happening.
We came down in May.
Yeah. And like we were just kind of working behind the scenes, and that was another thing that I thought that probably held me back, thinking wait till the website launches, wait till this thing. It meant nothing. Like
it's just a mentality in
it
your
is,
head.
and it's the opposite of a salary for 3 months. It's that little safety blanket thinking, well, after 3 months it's going to work out because I've got a website. Like people are going to click on it. But like I even just take off Solutions a lot of the time when I'm on the phone. I say it's Jack from Yakka, because it's just so much easier. You go into your story and So I think maybe end of June we'll say officially 12 months.
Okay, so 12 months. Let's just call it 12 months. Was it what you expected?
Yeah.
Maybe after 12 months, better than I expected.
Nice.
But I remember 3 or 4 months in thinking, yeah, I don't know. I guess it went pretty up and down. Like you rode the waves. I don't know how many times you've been in the shower and you're writing on the shower screen like the figures that you need to hit for different months. All the time, like just massive thinker in there. And then only like with the minimum revenue that we had to hit for 12 months, that must have just been in my subconscious so much, because like pretty much of, last week we've hit it. Yep. And like I remember writing it on the shower screen thinking like that was not a number that we're even close to 7 months ago, 6 months ago. So I really did feel proud last week when it was kind of that was all happening, and it was probably the first time where you can actually be like, yeah, this is a business to really be proud of.
Yeah, it not often do you stop and smell the roses, hey?
No, you don't.
Yeah, you're in there, you're smashing it out. It's just one thing after the next. And sometimes it's really good to just take a step back and go, fuck, I've done a pretty good job here.
Yeah, and feel like I haven't missed out on too much in like home life as well. Like Eli's only 17, 18 months now, and I feel like I've been really present. Like I haven't done 4 days a week, but I've done probably 4.5 days a week. I'll have him half a day on a Thursday, but then it ends up.
That's huge.
Mate, so you're crushing it in business. Successful first year, better than you expected, more family time at home, doing 4.5 days a week.
Essentially.
What a fucking win that is.
I'd like to drop it back to 4. I'd like to have him a day a week, but at the same time, like if your phone's ringing and I'm still going to be making calls, like Eli's in the back seat now, and when you get on the phone, he starts going, no, and like he'll pick up a remote and everything's a phone. So like he's obviously seen what I'm doing. So if he wasn't doing that, maybe I can be concerned that I wasn't doing enough activity. So
You know what? I reckon clients and candidates, if they hear Eli in the background, they'd probably be like, "Oh, that's so cute."
yeah, they loosen up a bit.
Yeah, they do, don't
Yeah.
they?
No, everyone respects it, like, and appreciates that everyone's just trying to do their best.
Yeah, I love that.
And the interpersonal relationships you get when you're the director, it's different, hey?
Yeah, I probably didn't see it much until maybe the last month. I did a deal with a bloke that probably used to see a little bit and never had much success with always have a chat and friendly. And then I reached out and he saw my signature on my email, so he saw my face and saw that it was our company. And it was a completely different conversation. He was pumped for us. He thought, like, well done. So yeah, I think we're starting to see that. I know you boys talk about the compounding effect. I just knew whatever we could do in this first year was just going to be like the start of it.
Yep.
And if we can get through, then we'll see what happens
Okay,
next.
so talk us through the next 12 months. Is there any kind of vision for expectations? Obviously, we know Tay is going to be coming into the business pretty shortly.
Yep.
So what are we thinking the next 12 months we have in store for us?
Like revenue wise, I think you're mad not to think you want to try and double what you did, because I guess you got twice the people working on it.
Yep.
Like no huge
Are you
goal.
staying in parks?
Yeah, we'll be in parks, I reckon, for a few years.
Yep.
Keep probably 60% of our work's been up in Brisbane.
Yep.
So you keep doing that, quarterly trip up. And then there's a huge opportunities in parks with like renewable energy, manufacturing. I met a bloke last week at the coffee shop on a rainy day. We're getting a takeaway coffee who's a developer for a solar farm, and I only just started having a yarn to him about the weather. Like, there's people starting to come out to those regional areas and I think Parks is 8 hours away. Oh, sorry, not 8 hours away. It's a day away from every capital city except probably Perth, I think. So, like, transport-wise.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people are setting up like manufacturing businesses, because instead of having them in Sydney and then having to come down south or go north, it's pretty much in the middle.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's like a really big
Logistics hub.
It's called there's a few in regional towns. It's called a special activation precinct. And mate, there's this beautiful road out there that looks like the M5 in Sydney, and there's like 2 or 3 buildings on that street, and it's got another 7 k's worth of spot to build there. So
Interesting.
I think we'd be mad not to think we'll forever have a base there.
Yep.
Yep.
And also, like, if mum and dad stay there, well, then there's a base to go back and visit.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't have huge aspirations of thinking I want to conquer every city or every state. We love it up here in Queensland, so it's natural to be here. And then obviously service your kind of home area is always nice.
Yeah. So keep growing personally, professionally. Get Tay in the business.
Yep.
Keep enjoying family life, because ultimately, I'd say 9 out of 10 recruiters I speak to, they're not trying to build the next Hayes or Randstad. They're using recruitment as a vehicle to have the life that they've always wanted.
Yep.
And that's more time, freedom, flexibility to spend with their loved ones. A little bit of extra money in the bank doesn't go too bad either. And just to do the things that they're passionate about on the side as well.
Yep.
So are you doing anything outside of recruitment now that you're a bit of an entrepreneur, you're 12 months in, have you got your eyes on something else that sparks your interest?
Not so much yet, Blake. Mate, I think I'm not even like excited about increasing headcount. Like, I really want to see what me and Tay can do, and then go from there. I can't wait for to start going to Eli's sport. Because me and Tay are all done with sport now. She plays netball. I just do a bit of training and that. Now that I'm done with footy, so mate, it's a small little town. Like, there's not a heap to do, but you get a lot of really good family time, and I don't think you ever get that back.
100%.
You can't.
Yeah. No, that's
Sponsoring some more footy teams.
Yeah, I reckon maybe the rugby league team.
League.
Yeah, a couple others. There's a little billboard
Little
outside
Oz
of
kicks.
town that we want to put our faces on.
Mate, how do you even contact those billboard? Is there a number?
There's a number on it.
Really?
Yeah, it's just got call. And I remember telling Dad, because Mum and Dad had a furniture shop in town, and Dad's like, I called that number 10 years back. I was going to do the same thing, and it was ridiculously expensive, but who knows? It'd be pretty cool.
It's been over 12 months since we were there, and they still don't have anyone on it.
Yeah, you'd think you'd rather just get the money, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
yeah. There's a
Maybe
lot.
it's just to promote the dude's number and someone pays for it.
Yeah, might be a hotline.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about I know we were chatting about your goals. I got a few of them here, like government panels, local, state.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say we'll get into all the stuff that we know how to do eventually, like a bit of temp work and contracts with government and that. But yeah, this first 12 months has been really good to learn something completely new while it's your own business. And well, you're working hard, but you reap all the rewards instead of, just doing it for someone else's business.
And you're going to double just by having Tay.
I think so.
More than double.
I just think like you've had to be really good at like compartmentalizing, and you're the resourcer, and then you've got to pump up and get on the phone and go back and forward, especially like so early on in business. You're not just filling the same roles. Like sometimes you are going to market fresh and you're finding people. And mate, like a good day for me in recruitment would be to not be in the office, to spend the whole day in the car or out and about on the phone and just have a list of people to call and then just follow that.
Yeah.
That's when I have a lot of success. Like those days you sit in the office and you do too much, you just know you need to get out.
Yeah.
Especially when you're on. When you're on your own, you can get a lot done in a pretty short amount of time.
Yeah. Honestly, I think in recruitment, 1 + 1 actually equals 3. It doesn't equal 2. Like I think you should be able to over double your billings, because it's just the extra dynamic and energy of someone else being there, plus their effort. I mean, you both increase dramatically, I find. Whenever I'm around someone else while I'm recruiting, I always do better, just by osmosis.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I want to, stick it to them that I'm on the phones more than them. Subconsciously.
You get competitive. Like it's just in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
How much do you reckon sport contributed to your success as a recruiter?
I think it helped with. I think the best one for playing sport is just that you can cop really harsh feedback and move on and take the best part out of it. Like you don't sit and dwell on much. That'd be the best thing. Like I know that there's a bloke in Sydney that's made his business of putting athletes into sales roles, because you get competitive, especially in like environments. I remember first coming here when like H people were just kicking off, and that was just like you're pumped, and then you listen for half hour and you're like, well, like I've got to get on the phone and like jump into a few meetings here, and like everyone's listening to each other. So like just knew like if I was doing this kind of billings on my own, like wait till someone else is around and you can start feeding off each other. Yeah, that's when it changes.
There's a 7-figure desk.
Be nice, just to keep poking away in parks and 2 offices at the moment.
2 offices.
We had a leak in one, but I've put a sign on both, and had a few people asking me what was going on. But it was good for the look.
Yeah,
mate, it's a great space.
Yeah,
what a great way to start.
Yeah, it's been good. I wouldn't have been able to do it out of the home office, and wouldn't have enjoyed it. I love getting out, and then like you said, you meet people at the coffee shop that turn into clients, and having a space for you. I think we spoke about once, having a space for your family to come and you see like them run in the door and they're excited to see you, and it's your office. Like that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, 100%, mate. It's bloody awesome.
All right, I've got a question before we wrap this up, and this is going to be my question. I think I took a leaf out of Diary of a CEO's book. Have you seen Diary of a CEO?
Bartlett, yeah, I read his book. Yeah.
And what he likes to do, and this is super ad hoc right now. I haven't spoken to Declan about this.
So this wasn't in the email that you teed me up with?
No. This wasn't in the email. I want to ask you a question.
Yep.
And grab your answer, and then you've got to ask a question for our next guest.
Oh yeah.
And then we're going to ask our next guest the question that you pose. All right. So I'm going to start it off. What would you tell Jack from Yakka 12 months ago now?
Oh, you could get very soppy and say like it's going to be all right, but I think the situation where your back's to the wall and you've got to make it work is the better. Like if you've got any safety blanket of thinking, I don't have to go as hard here as I need to, it's probably no good. Yeah, like make the situation. It's got to be a risk, and that's how it's all kind of worked for us. So just back yourself, and it'll work out.
Back yourself, and it'll work out. Love that. What question do you think we need to ask our next guest?
Do you have the guest name?
No.
Okay.
So they're going to have no idea. Well, you're going to have no idea who you're asking, but they're going to know it came from you.
Okay. What's the best advice you've ever received in recruitment?
Love that. I'm writing that down.
Pretty ordinary.
There's a new tradition just starting here.
Yeah.
Just it's completely ad hoc. What? Say that again.
What's the best advice you've received for recruitment?
What's the best advice you've received in recruitment? Awesome. Love that. On that note, Jack from Yakka, Thank you for coming and sharing your story.
Blake from Yakka, Declan from Yakka.
We love
The
your
trio.
merch.
Thank
The
you, boys.
trio. Now let's get some pickies
Yep.
and celebrate the day and enjoy our dinner tonight.
Mate, quickly, thank you for all your help over the last 12 months. Mate, it's been a fun journey. And to see how far you guys have now gone, it's it's really exciting.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks,
Appreciate
mate.
that.
Let's keep going.
Absolutely.
it.
Let's go.
Beautiful.
Thanks,
boys.
brother.
Thanks for tuning in to another Confessions of a Recruiter podcast with Blake and Declan. We hope you enjoyed and got a lot of value and insights out of this episode. If you do have any questions or you would like to recommend someone to come on the Confessions podcast, we would love any introductions. And remember the rule of the podcast: like, share, and recommend it to a friend. Until next time.